Here's a confession. Every so often, I find myself watching 90s commercials on YouTube, and not just the big ones, like the Where's the Beef Lady or the Mentos jingle.
Where's the beef? Doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you, staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
But the random ones, Skechers with platform soles, the Dunkaroos commercial with their hyperactive kangaroo mascot, even the odd AOL dial-up ad.
Hey, Dan, ready for the game? I'm just finishing up here with my new kayaking friends.
Kayaking friends on your computer?
Yeah, I just got America Online.
Sounds great. Listen, I can't go to the game today.
What?
I've got to send something for my mom's birthday. It's tomorrow. I'll then book plane tickets for a trip next week, and my kids got to go to the library to look up dinosaurs.
Plane tickets are ordered. Now, let's look up dinosaurs. What do you think, Compton's Encyclopedia or National Geographic?
And every time I feel this ache, a warm, fuzzy ache for something I can't quite put into words. If you're a millennial, chances are you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because we're a generation that's, above all else, comically nostalgic. It's as if millennials and parts of Gen Z have collectively decided to live with one foot in the past. We love to talk about how things were better back then. Better shows, better snacks, better toys. But why? Why are we, more than other generations, so obsessed with nostalgia? And is that a good thing? Or just a way to avoid the messy realities of adulthood? Now, I'm not saying we're the only generation that's overly nostalgic. The Wonder Years had 6 seasons for a reason. Hell, some people are even nostalgic for a time period that they didn't even live in. But that's another conversation entirely. Excuse me, can you take your head out of here, please? Researchers define it as a sentimental longing for the past, often tied to feelings of comfort or safety. Nostalgia can be triggered by anything. A song, a smell, a food, the old Nickelodeon logo. In fact, studies have shown that nostalgia is more likely to surface during times of uncertainty and stress. And spoiler alert, millennials grew up surrounded by both.
We have been getting all of our supplies together in preparation for a disaster.
Fill the car with gas, take out some extra cash from the bank, maybe enough to last a day or two, hit the grocery store if you like, avoid travel, and keep candles and a flashlight around just in case.
This state has done more than virtually any other state, and this country has done more than most of the other countries, and we are as prepared as you can possibly be.
Armageddon, you know, it's the worst that could happen.
This just in, you are looking at
we have a breaking
obviously
news
very
story to tell you
disturbing
about.
launch out there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed.
As we come on now, we have serious news of a major, a very tragic alert for you right now. An incredible plane crash into the World Trade Center.
If you are watching us from the last home you'll ever own tonight, consider yourself lucky. Same goes for anyone ready to buy a slice of the American dream. But if you're among the millions trying to sell, this was a very bad day. The National Association of Realtors reported the worst month-to-month drop in existing home sales since they started keeping track in the late 90s.
China has identified the cause of the mysterious new virus. Coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia.
This is a rapidly emerging situation. There is not a cause for alarm.
The first US case has been detected. There's confirmation the coronavirus has reached Australia.
China is urging its citizens not to travel abroad as it struggles to contain the virus.
We will be standing up Christmas Island as a quarantine area.
Foreign nationals coming from China are now banned from entering the country.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
We now have a name for the disease, COVID-19.
So when your brain is in a constant ping-ponging between existential dread and bad reality TV, of course you're going to cling to the memory of simpler times, like eating Gushers on the couch while watching Doug. It's survival, really. Now let's talk about why millennials in particular have such a special relationship with nostalgia. We were born in this sweet spot, after the Cold War but before smartphones. When the world was analog enough to feel slow, but digital enough to feel exciting and expansive. We were the first generation to grow up online, and maybe the last generation to really remember what life was like offline. We're also the generation that grew up around constant consumerism. Everything was a fad. Beanie Babies, fad. Razor scooters, fad. That weird stretchy sticky hand thing that you got from the gumball machine that you immediately ruined, a very small, very specific fad. And companies were relentless in their marketing to kids. So much of our childhood was tied to brands and toys and media that it's no wonder we feel such a strong connection to them now. And then there's the fact that nostalgia has become a lucrative business model. Everything we loved as kids is now being repackaged and resold to us as adults. Look, I love that Neopets is making a comeback, and to be honest, I never stopped playing, even during the odd NFT stages, but at this point, we can't pretend that it's just for the kids, or for the kids at all. The people making these reboots in media, like the Babysitters Club and Animaniacs, know exactly what they're doing and exactly who they're targeting. Millennials, with credit cards, too much screen time, and a desperate yearning for a time where we didn't have to spend a whole month's pay on rent. And we fall for it every time, because nothing scratches the nostalgia itch like seeing something old wrapped in a new shiny cover. It's the same reason we buy Funko Pops and retro game consoles that we barely use. Nostalgia sells. Just the other day, this popped up on my feed. And did I squeal a little bit? Yes, I did. Am I going to buy it? Well, I really want to. But here's the thing about nostalgia. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can be comforting, like revisiting an old friend. And on the other hand, it can make us romanticize a past that really wasn't that great. When we get too wrapped up in nostalgia, we risk losing sight of the present. We compare everything to the golden age of our youth, even though that golden age was probably just as messy and complicated as life is now. We just didn't notice it as much because we were kids. So where does that leave us? Do we ditch nostalgia entirely? Of course not. That would be impossible. Nostalgia is part of being human. It's what helps connect us to our past and to each other. It's why we bond over the fact that we all know the lyrics to All Star despite not hearing the song in 20 years. Or why we smile when we see kids still playing with Pokemon cards. But we also need to balance it with the present, because there are things happening right now at this very moment that we might be nostalgic for years down the road. And we don't want to miss out on them while we're binging old episodes of Us Told by Ginger. So the next time you feel that wave of nostalgia hit, embrace it. Watch that old cartoon, eat that Lunchable, but also remember that the present is just as important. Who knows, years from now, we might be nostalgic for this very moment. Streaming Netflix in our pajamas, scrolling TikTok and eating overpriced avocado toast. And if that doesn't happen, at least you'll always have Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroo and as much chocolate or vanilla frosting as you want. So, how do you do your Dunkaroo?